G'day everyone, here we are again. I've been doing some sort of shorter projects lately, so there's been a bit more sort of turnaround in videos. That might change soon. I've got another big box turned up the other day with a bunch of figures in it, so that might be turn into a bigger block of work of painting. So there might be more of a gap between the videos, as it were. So these startling looking characters in front of you today, these are like another set of characters that I'm painting, like I did a few weeks ago for Albie up in Queensland. He gets me to paint a lot of character figures for various games. Now these two unpleasant looking characters you can see in front of you, they're metal miniatures from Wargamer Poland, I believe, from that Anno Domini 1666 range. I believe they're meant to represent golems, so you could use them in your fantasy roleplay games quite easily for all sorts of systems. So here we have the stone golem, and here quite obviously we have a flesh golem stitched together from various grotesque parts. Yeah, they're quite large miniatures. Let me see. If I put them, I'll just grab a figure. Here's a little Highlander. This is, well, quite a large Highlander. This is one of the Black Scorpion miniatures, but you can see the difference in size. So these are quite big. I guess they're maybe 40 mil. They're certainly large. Certainly higher 30s, 35 plus, I would say. Yeah, metal miniatures, loads of detail. So really interesting to paint. There'll be stills at the end, as long as they've turned out. I've taken them already, so I'll process them later and tack them onto the end of the video so you can have a bit of a closer look, hopefully. So, patched together coats. What I've done, I've given him, the stone golem guy's got a sort of a green-grey coloured stone, and to complement that, he's been given a red-brown kind of patched up coat, and he's got some leather as well, a leather pouch and belt, and covered with chains. So yeah, there's lots there that I was able to pick out and highlight edges and stitches and whatnot. So that's him. This fella's quite grotesque. So I tend to paint these sorts of figures rather than all pale and pasty. Sort of more of a it reminds me more of a dried up meat, like beef jerky or something gross like that. With a combination of some sort of plague victim. He's got lumps and spots all over him. It's yeah, sort of desiccated flesh sort of thing stitched together, and it looks like he's been restrained by some sort of restraint. He's got this massive chain in his back that's been probably holding him to something, a wall or a tomb or something, and this crazy big axe, which is a bit of rust, but it's got a sharp enough edge. So yeah, there's a lot of detail, and there's lots of stretched muscles and sinews and stitching and spots and blotches and all sorts of things. So I was able to go to town on that, using a lot of sort of layering up with lots of washes of different colors and things, and going back and doing more, and then doing selective highlights and things like that with various flesh tones or decomposed flesh tones. So yeah, kind of gross, but that's where we start. So I'll take these two off and bring out the next couple for a twirl. here we go. Now these ladies are resin miniatures, so they're quite delicate. They're either from Bombshell Miniatures or they're from Wargamer Poland. Maybe Bombshell is part of Wargamer Poland. I can't remember. Anyway, they're quite delicate resin figures. A lot of detail on them. So this lady is sort of a vampiric sort of lady with deep, dark, blood red, sort of very dark red gown, holding a skull, perhaps, of one of her victims or something. It's all a bit grim. So yes, nicely, lots of detail on the dress, so that could bring out the highlights and things, and from the really dark, sort of to make it sort of to the lightest red, sort of velvety. And there's a lot of subtle shading on these robes, washes, and then various tones to bring out the form of the body and stuff, and then the bright red and blue decoration on this Egyptian type villainess with her nasty sharp dagger. So something a bit different there. There'll be pictures at the end. Right, what's next? Oh yes, next is Mr. Stand and Deliver. Some sort of Dick Turpin stand-in. This is a Highwayman. He's from, as far as I know, he's from Black Scorpion Miniatures. Here is resin. The Black Scorpion miniatures are slightly larger, chunkier sort of resin, but still lots of crisp detail to get your paintbrush on. And Albie just said paint him all sort of, dark man of the shadow, pops out of the shadows and says, stand and deliver your money or your life, as they do. Well, they did. So yes, a Highwayman. There we are. Some nice, that's an opportunity for a really dark blue and some nice opportunities for like the highlighting, the subtle highlighting, on the shoulders, and then the creases, the folds of his nice coat there. So you've given him quite dark gloves as well, and boots, a black sash, he's got a black sort of undershirt that comes up in what looks like in the form of a mask that can go over his button over his face. Armed with a brace of pistols and a dagger and another brace of pistols in his hands. Yeah, so quite a cool character miniature. So that's him. And lastly we have, I'm just reaching behind me to get them off the tray, rather than pausing the video. These chappies, these laddies here are from Black Scorpion. They are, well, sort of slightly, I wouldn't say they're 100% historically accurate, but they would do for Jacobites. So from the 1745 Jacobite rebellion, to my eye anyway. The only thing that, looking at reference pictures, that doesn't seem quite to fit with the reference images I was seeing is they've been given these long, just below the knee length boots, rather than the shoes, the buckle shoes, and the long sort of stockings or whatever. But whether they did any of them wear these high boots, I don't know. I mean, mind you, this guy's got trews here, but they've all got some form of plaid, not based on any particular clans or anything, just some different generic designs. But they took me a while certainly no expert on painting tartan. It's just a matter of going. It was like the last thing I did. It was like I'm putting it off to last. Got everything else done, and then slowly went in drawing lines and things like that with fine brushes, and so some of them are a bit bolder and blockier. These are sort of some larger squares, but when you look up close, you see that there's fine. So you've got a blue, dark blue base, and then some very pale grey lines, checks, and then through the middle of those lines, there's orange, even finer lines, and then where they orange meet, there's sort of like a darker orangey brown squares there. This guy's got sort of a brownish background, and then he's got yellows and blacks and stuff like that through his plaid. Give him a twirl. But they've all got the blue bonnet that was requested, and I've given them some sort of heathery kind of tufts on their base. Got nice sharp looking swords, broadswords. Yeah, so, and he's got his trousers are more the blue that he's got on his cap. The actual jacket's a darker blue. It's off a different base, dark blue base, I believe it. I can't remember. I think I started with because I've been trying to speed things up where I can, to do my blocking in with acrylic inks or Vallejo Express colours, but I'm a bit limited as to how many colours I've got. I'm waiting for the next wave of Vallejo Express colours to come, and I'm probably hoping to pick up some more. Not that the way I paint, that they stay the final product, but because the way they go on so easily, it means I can block a figure in quicker before I put the wash stage on, and then go back over and over paint. It just, well, in my mind, it speeds things up a little for me, just to block in those base colours. But yeah. And so you got this chappy here. Give him a bit of a twirl. There'll be pictures at the end so you can have a closer look, hopefully. So he's got more of a drab coat on, but then he's got this sort of blues and orange and stuff in his tartan, and obviously set off by the blue bonnet there. And here's this chappy. He's got green with red, largest squares, and then fine yellow lines intersecting in between those. A bit hard to see, but there we go. So they're really nice miniatures. I don't know, this guy might be my favourite. It's quite interesting. So with him, he's got a red base to his tartan, and then I did black lines crisscross, and then through those black lines I put fine green lines. It seems quite effective. And he's got sort of a drab green jacket. There we go. So yeah, I quite like how that turned out in the back there. As I say, they're not based off any particular clans or anything. They're just a sort of a general tartan impressions. So there you go. There's them. You could use them in your 1745 type skirmish or something, or maybe that, you know, I don't know, a variety of places. Yeah, Black Scorpion. So that's everything for today. Another shorter one for me by my standards anyway. Yeah, the box that I got received, they are Carthaginians, and they are all from Gripping Beast. So I think they're all metal. I'm not sure if the elephant is, but anyway, they are, even though, yeah, I have painted a lot of Carthaginians and things before, I don't believe I've painted the Gripping Beast range. So that's something that I'll be chipping away at over a period of time. There'll be other sets of character figures and other little projects interspersed in between, just because we all like to have a bit of variety, don't we? So, not sure if there's any other news at this stage. Yeah, we'll leave it there for now. But thanks to everyone for watching and subscribing. Please feel free to ask questions. I'm happy to try and answer them. I do try and reply to everyone's comments. Yeah, it's good to share what you know, and I've certainly learned a lot from other people and watching other people, and yeah. All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next one. If I don't see you before Christmas, I hope you have a wonderful, peaceful Christmas and a happy New Year. All the best. Bye for now.